Hello, Stonecreek Church family. Are you ready for a little courage refuel? Yeah. Hey, today's Courage Refuel is brought to you by Harold Sala. He authored this book on Can I Trust the Bible? His daughter Bonnie is Kevin Condren's wife, and she runs a ministry here in Mission Viejo called Guidelines. The link is right below the video link in this newsletter, and you can explore that website. I'm going to share with you one of his guideline devotionals. He starts off with Ephesians chapter 2. He says, "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this not of yourselves. It is a gift of God, not by works, so that you don't boast." Right? Grace is a gift from God, so we can't boast in that I did it. But I just want to kind of focus and share what Dr. Sala was sharing. He says, in the upper room, Jesus charged his disciples. Don't be troubled, he said. Don't be afraid. He knew what was ahead, and they didn't. They didn't know what was going to be coming up in the upper room, right? But instead of struggling with the panic, Jesus was calm. He was fully in control. And when you're stronger than your circumstances, right? When you're stronger than those things that confront you, then you too can be calm and have that peace about you. And Jesus finished challenging his disciples by telling them that, I've told you these things so that you will have peace. In this world, you will have trouble, he says, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Do you really believe that? I mean, do you really believe that we can take heart because Jesus has overcome the world? When you're convinced that God is still in control of the world, you can have peace no matter what the situation is, no matter what fears you may be facing. George Bernard Shaw once quipped that in this life, if there are other planets and there's life in other planets, they must be using Earth as an insane asylum, right? The news that we look at today seems to confirm that might be a reality. We got all kinds of, logic that is so messed up, and the world's thinking is all misaligned to God's thinking. And then you've got people that are just wanting to go to war with no clear winner. The overview of history, however, includes, an accurate description of the rise and fall of nations in the Bible. And still it confirms the reality that there is an unseen hand that writes the destinies of the nations, as well as the sagas of those leaders that take center stage for a short while, and then they quickly just pass from the scene. A German poet, Frere von Logau, he died in 1655. He's credited with having written this statement: "Though the mills of God grind slowly, yet they grind exceedingly fine. Though with patience he stands waiting, with exactness he grinds them all." Jesus knew exactly how things would play out, which is why he said, don't be troubled, don't be afraid. There's an old story of a little girl that Dr. Sala shares, and she was on a passenger boat where her father was the captain. And as the ship crossed the Atlantic, it was caught in a winter storm. The gales just lashed the vessel, rolled in the angry waves, and the captain was concerned for people's safety, and so he told a steward to go and tell everybody to put a life jacket on and prepare to evacuate. And the steward gently knocks on the door that was occupied by the little girl, and told her that orders had been given for her to put on the life jacket. And the little girl, who'd been sleeping soundly, is rubbing her eyes, and she said, "Is Father at the helm of the ship?" And when she was told that he was, she said, "If Father is at the helm, everything is going to be fine." God does not slumber. He does not sleep. God is not indifferent to our world. He's not indifferent to the personal needs that you have in life. His hand is not too short, not too weak to rescue you at your time of need. And that's why you need to not fear evil as you walk into the future. We're thinking about the future. It seems very overwhelming. And so do you recall the words of the little shepherd turned king of Israel? He says, Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Can you personally say, I too will fear no evil because I know who walks beside me? Safety is not the absence of danger, but the presence of God. We know we are safe when we are in the presence of God. The dangers may surround us, yet his presence provides us with a safety in the shadow of the wings of God. That's the good news. And so you can face the world in the future with confidence. Jesus says, don't be troubled. Don't be afraid. I've overcome the world. Psalm 91 says, whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. It's just the shadow that we need to just take rest in, right? Because our God is great and he casts a great shadow. Well, if you want to check out more about the blogs, and even Bonnie has a devotional that she shares, a daily devotional, a brief little devotional. Check out the link below at the Guidelines website and explore that. They really are reaching people for Jesus with the good news of the gospel all over the world. So I just want you to be aware of that. It's a great tool to utilize, to share with others, for you to be encouraged. Hey, we've got The Chosen coming right out in a couple of weeks. February 14th, Fall in Love with Jesus. We're going to start season 2, episode 1 of The Chosen. Have a potluck and get together. We had a great new member luncheon this past Sunday. We're right into a new series, Essential Church. We're going to talk about how the church is essential to your faith. And lots of things going on. So check out the rest of the newsletter. Have a great day and God bless you. See you.